Hello everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody here today to share a scrapbook layout that I did with my November Studio Calico scrapbook kit. I just got the main scrapbook kit. I haven't gotten any of the add-on kits since I started my membership, and I'm not sure that I will. I have a hard time just making enough time to use everything that's in the main kit, so I'm not sure that I would even have enough time to use all the stuff that's in the scrapbook kit. So, I mean, in any add-on. So, either way, this is one of the layouts that I made. I believe I completed, I believe it was 4 or 5 layouts with the November kit. You can get the supplies for any additional supplies that I used in addition to the kit, as well as a link to the video for the introduction to this kit where I show everything that came in the kit, and you'll be able to see all the other layouts that I made with this particular month's subscription kit. So if you go, that post is on my blog, www.designbymelody.com, and it was posted on January 8th, Wednesday, January 8th. So that post is there. It gives you a picture of every layout that I did with that kit, as well as you can see any additional supplies I used, and then, like I said, a link to the intro to the kit that I have for that month. So anyway, so this is one of the layouts that I did. This one is called Out of Control, and it features 2 pictures of Kaylin. They measure about 3 by 4. They are slightly smaller. As you can see, I had printed them on a 4 by 6 photo, and then I trimmed off the white border. I'm using this paper. I really liked this green, blue, and red paper, but I had a very difficult time just making all the colors work. I don't know why I was having such an issue. I didn't want, with that little hello tag, it's a 4 by 4 cut apart sheet, with that I just didn't want to use too much of this green at the bottom of here. I didn't mind a little bit peeking out, but it was just too much to have all of that green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cut this paper apart. I'm trimming off the top first, and then I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces, and I'm going to have it line the top and the bottom of this brick pattern. As you can see, I'm just kind of measuring how much of this I want to peek out of the top and how much I want to peek out of the bottom. I knew obviously that the green went with this layout because that's how the original paper was. But I wanted to really show the red and the blue on the actual layout with the brick pattern. It was just too much with that green. Green, for some reason, is just not my favorite color anyways to use on scrapbooking. I just have issues incorporating it, and I know that's just me. It does not happen to everybody, but I just have issues with green for some reason. I'm using this what is it, like a craft colored grid paper. I got this at TJ Maxx years ago, and I got like 25 sheets of it, and obviously I have not used all of the 25 sheets, so I use it for different things, but I'm using it to kind of back this layout on, since it's more of a pieced together layout. It'll make sure that it is a 12 by 12 size. So at first I laid this down, and I had to move it because the green is peeking out, and I decided instead of having just a little corner of it peek out, I might as well go ahead and cover it up completely. Otherwise it might look a little funny to have just a little bit peeking out. So I'm just trimming it up here to make sure it really is a square layout without things hanging off the sides. I probably could have re-glued it to the main piece to make sure that it was exactly square, but it was easier just to trim it. And I'm just trimming off the border strip off the backing piece I'm using. I like to keep, there's some papers that I just don't use and I know I'll never use, but I like to keep them on hand for situations like this where you just need a a scrap piece of paper to use as the base or whatnot to build your layout on top of, even if none of it ever shows. Alright, so now I've put my layout, the basis of my layout together, and at this point I really did not have a plan for any direction that this was going in. I just wanted to kind of see what I could make work. I loved the blue and the red and the green together, so I knew that I wanted to use those 3 pieces, and I knew it had to have some other pattern to break apart all of those bold colors, so that's why I used the brick pattern. It's enough of a color without being too bold of a pattern to use on a layout. And this polka dot paper is just the back of it's actually the other side of the green part that was cut off. And I'm just using it as a mat for my photos, so they stand out just a little bit against the brick pattern. I'm going to use some subtle layers here. They don't make a big impact, but for me it makes the photo stand out just a little bit more. And you'll see, I believe that's what I'm going to grab right now. I knew as soon as I saw this 4x4 tag that that's what I wanted to use, because it says "Hello Handsome," and with his hair, he had just the craziest hair when he was a baby. It just stuck up all over the place, so I knew that that would be a perfect tag to use with these photos. So I'm using this doily from Bo Bunny as a layering element, and again I'm using it just to kind of break apart the patterns, but also bring some more emphasis to the photos. And so now that I have that kind of figured out, I'm just trying to see what other elements of this kit I can use. These little transparent, I believe they're about 2 inches by 2 inches. I'm not 100% sure, but they're just kind of, you can see Kaylin's feet as he's walking around while I'm scrapbooking, but I just cannot make them work. I don't know, it's just me. I know this, not everybody has these problems, but I have issues with those little things. But I love the sticker sheet that came with this kit. I used almost all of the stickers off of this sticker sheet, and I actually impressed myself. But typically I don't use that many. So this tab I just used, it's one of the label stickers off of the sticker sheet, and I just used it above the photos. It has that exact same green as the Hello Handsome cut apart, and it was just another way to bring that green in to make it seem like it was part of the layout and not just such a random piece. And this little border strip is actually a scallop sticker off of the sticker sheet that I'm using as well. And since I'm going to have the photos right in the center of that doily, I'm going to just glue right in the center, since most of it's going to be covered up anyway, so you're not going to see that adhesive. I'm just using that scallop border as kind of a grounding element for my photos and this Hello Handsome 4x4 cut apart. Sometimes the photos look like they float if they're not really on something, so I like to add a horizontal element if there's not one in the pattern paper to ground those a little bit. And I just have it overlapping. It's not literally sitting on top of the border, but it overlaps the border. I'm just adhering those elements down. And again, I'm just kind of figuring this out as I go along. I really didn't have much of a plan before I started. It was more so of a, I'm going to try to use this paper and we'll just go from there. So that's kind of what's happening here. I generally do not scrapbook with a sketch. It probably would help, but I don't. I just kind of go. I just see what photo I want to either start with the photo or I start with the pattern paper. And sometimes I just pull out the kit and lay out all my photos and see what I feel like works. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I just kind of go. And I know I've actually looked at a couple different things to use as inspiration, and I still end up, even though I might have an idea to start out with, I still end up kind of just going with what works, and it seems like that just works for me. So I kind of stopped the layout there and I came back on another day. As you could tell, my shirt changed and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But before I realized that the camera was not recording, I added the part of the title. I used those October Afternoon stickers as I showed you to do the out. And then I used for the control, I used those black letter glitter stickers that you see that came in the kit, and then I used some basic gray stickers for the OF in the title, Out of Control. And again, to ground it, I used one of the lines in the paper right there at the bottom to kind of ground my title so it's not so much floating. And I really like these epoxy stickers. I wish I could I wanted to use them as a line of these circular stickers. They didn't mean anything, they're just numbers, but I've already used the number 2, so it would be funny to me, it looked funny to me to have it 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I had the 2, I definitely would have done it, but it just seemed funny to me not having that 2 there. And I used, this was a scrap of paper off of one of those 4x4 cut aparts that I did. So I used it to stamp the stamp that says "I love this," and I'm going to make it part of this cluster at the top. So I'm just making that part of this cluster, like I said. I pulled off those 2 stickers to use it as the bottom piece, and then I'll put the stickers right back over it. I just made a banner out of that stamp that I cut apart. Sorry, the exposure on this camera keeps going funny as soon as I have too much white. It makes it weird. I moved into a new scrapbook room, so I'm still working on getting the lighting correct. I'm just using staples here, and I'm going to staple on this side too to kind of balance that out. And then I'm going to put it in one more space as well. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to add a little bit of a corner of this doily just to kind of pull in the title and add a little bit of embellishment around it. I'm not going to add very much embellishment around this title. I'm just going to add a little bit. It's kind of funny as I watch these videos. Of course, I speed it up through before I record the voiceover, but it's funny. You can see the different people come in and talk to me while I'm scrapbooking. This again is another sticker. It says dated 1 and then all the way up to 31. And like I said, I added those staples there. And the sticker didn't really mean anything. It was just another element to add to tie in a couple of the different parts of the layout. And I am adding this small green circle at the top. It says, I think it says AM and PM, but you can't even see the letters. It's just peeking out from behind that doily, and you really can't even see it here on this video, but you will see it slightly at the end of the, in the still shots. Almost done here. I'm just trying to figure out what else to add. I feel like it needs something else at the bottom. And I'm just trying to see, with these alpha stickers being so bold, they're black, I feel like I needed a little bit more black in another part of the layout. I have a few small elements that are black, but I just don't have that much. So I'm going to use this washi tape. I honestly do not remember where it is from, but it's just like a chalkboard, and it has 0 through 9. The numbers 0 through 9, which you can't even see that on the layout, but it's just peeking out enough, and it adds a little bit of that black element. So I'm pulling out a whole bunch of different embellishments here to see what I can make work. I feel like it just needs something, like I said. So I'm going to go through these different boxes here of different embellishments I have to see if anything jumps out at me. All of these things are just stuff from my stash. There's nothing really in particular here. I'm just seeing if I can find anything that makes sense to me or works. So I found these wood veneer. I just dumped them out on the lid here so I could see them easier. They are from Studio Calico. I bought them at Archivers a couple months ago. I'm just going to use them to bring emphasis to these two parts of the layout, and I will add one at the top into that cluster as well to make it a consistent flow, as well as just to again bring a little bit of emphasis there. So I have 3 arrows going towards the photo, 2 arrows going towards the title, and then a geotag at the top right above that I love this. It's going to find its home there. I'm just going to get my Tombow Mono multi-glue and adhere these down to the layout. And the layout is almost complete once I do this. I'm checking just to see if there's anything else to add. I'm looking at, breads and sequins and just some different random elements just to see if anything peeks out at me. And I have a lot of these embellishments over there on the shelf that's just out of sight of this screen, which is why I keep walking over there just to see if there's anything that's grabbing my attention. So I'm just going to adhere these down. Once these are all adhered down, that's pretty much the end of the layout. I didn't add any more embellishment other than my journaling, which you will see here shortly. These kits come with a decent amount of embellishments, but I always end up adding a couple things to the kit just to complete the layouts. I have a hard time with embellishments. A lot of times I want to add more, but I don't want it to be clustered or cluttered feeling, so some of my layouts end up being minimal and some of them don't. I actually like the balance in this one. It has enough flat elements and a few dimensional elements, but without being too much. So this is pretty much the completed layout. Like I said, I'm just going to add some journaling, and I'm going to put it right there on the Hello Handsome tag. I'm just going to write it out first just to see how it looks. And it's just a very simple line. It just says, "Crazy hair is the look of the year. At least it's cute on Kaylin." And that's what I'm putting right here below the Hello Handsome. So the Hello Handsome kind of leads into what the journaling is going to say. So I'm going to show you a close-up, and then I'm also going to show you some still shots at the end. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching today, and like I said, visit my blog if you'd like to see the additional supplies I used as well as the other layouts I made with this kit. Again, it's www.designbymelody.com. Thanks!